Okay, let's talk about Sony cameras. Here I have a Sony camera from God knows how long ago. This was a blogging camera that they released. Pretty much just a point and shoot camera that was scrunched up and minimized into an idiot friendly package. And it was like candy bar style. It was amazing for its time. Here's another old Sony camera. This one's a Sony NEX one. This is technically a vlogging camera because it flips up. It has no mic connector, which is a downside, but neither did this either. And I was around for all these camera drops. I remember the first Sony mirrorless camera. And then let's go to today, pretty much. Well, almost today. This is a Sony ZV-1F. There is a Mark II that came out. This is my personal vlogging camera, which I have not dropped a vlog yet. Sorry about that. I will get to it. This is about the state of Sony cameras. There's so many different options that exist, the evolution of these cameras. And the Sony ZV-1F is kind of like an amalgamation of this little blog camera right here. Oh, I turned it on. Oh God. That's what it looks like. It's really close, too close. Sony's been doing that a lot. Anyway, and then this camera right here, I actually wanted this little camera to be a better version of this, or to be a cheaper version of this, right? But I ended up getting the 1F anyway. And then there's a camera I'm using to film myself right now, which is a Sony a7C, which I think came out 2019, 2020. And it's an older camera. Now, all these cameras are capable of taking video of you, but they have pros and cons. And now they have even newer cameras like the a6 7000, the FX30. There's so many options for recording yourself if you want to be in the Sony ecosystem. And if you watch previous videos, I think Sony is the best ecosystem to invest in when it comes to accessories, lenses, image quality, performance, all that stuff. That being said, you don't want to buy the wrong Sony camera. You might be like me. You might end up with 2-3 extra models because you were trying to save money and then you found out things didn't work, certain features weren't available. And you want to make the right decision once. And that's why you're watching this video. You're watching this video because you want to know what's the best Sony camera to get in 2023 right now, because they have so many options. So let me break it down for you and make it simple. Now, this isn't a debate about full frame or crop sensor or anything like that. This is pure bang for buck, what you should get. So that way you have the least path of resistance to creating content and you don't have to worry about things being obsolete down the line. And it really depends on what type of creator you are, like what kind of content you want to be making on the regular and what's your budget. But the simple answer is, if you're doing talking head videos like this, you're shooting in a studio environment, stationary, you want to do the FX30. FX30 is the best bang for buck camera you can get out there. It is one of the newest cameras out of all the iterations that exist. It has really amazing features. It has good compatibility with lenses. It's a tanky camera, and the best thing about it is that I think it holds its value very well. There's a lot of Sony a7Cs that, because they're full frame, they're better than the FX30. And I actually had an FX30, which is why I can talk to you about this. I miss my FX30 just because of simple features like the tally light, high-res codecs for filming, different things like that. The features, the accessories that are available for the FX30, it's also easier for me to do than the A7C. The A7C seemed like a better choice because I was paying the same price, but I got higher quality video because it was full frame. But honestly, I would trade the full frame look for an FX30. So if you're doing talking head videos in a studio, you want something that's going to hold its value, that is reliable, easy to use, up to date, the FX30 is probably the best option. Don't worry about getting the full frame look. Get actually the FX30 and then the Samyang 12mm f2. You'll get an amazing combo there, so you can shoot nice wide perspectives. Actually, I think this is about, this perspective that you're looking at is 24mm at f1.8 on a full frame camera. It looks good. It looks good. Don't get me wrong. But I could achieve just a similar or even equal look to this perspective with the FX30 and that Samyang lens. I think that'll hit you the $2,000 mark. No audio setup there, but that'll hit you about $2,000 for a nice setup. If you're thinking that $2,000 is way too much to spend on equipment, I completely understand, and that's why the A6 7000, name is awful, is not a good choice either, because that one's super pricey. The ZV-E1 is also super pricey. So if you want a good camera and you don't have to worry about lenses and other stuff, then that's where you want to get the ZV-1F. Now, the ZV-1F is the one I have here. It is a vlogging camera for all intents and purposes. It has a nice flip out screen. It has a big record button right there. I have a couple of accessories that I have on here. This lens is actually not that big. I have some filters, literally, like, let me show you how tiny this thing is. Like, I literally just removed the whole front. Look at this stack of filters and stuff that I have. Now, I use this filters because it gives me a specific look that I like. It's an ND filter and a wide angle filter and a soft chromos filter. It gives me a special effect. That's why I use these filters. But you could just use the camera like bare bones like this. No filters, no nothing. You see how tiny that thing is? And you still get amazing image quality with this guy right here. It has all the mic inputs as well, so it's a better budget option than some of Sony's older cameras because you don't have to worry about buying lenses. You don't have to worry about charging the thing because it's USB-C charging, which is a godsend when it comes to carrying equipment and charging it, traveling with it. And that's where I made the mistake. I think I paid some person on Facebook Marketplace like $200 for this piece of shit. And even though it has a nice flip-up screen, and even though it seems like a nice compact package, and it's like old, I can toss it around, not be stressed out about it, it's not compatible with a lot of Sony lenses, like third-party brands, which I have a third-party brand lens. So it kind of defeated the purpose for me to pick up this camera. I didn't realize it till it was too late, and the autofocus wasn't any good either. So for the $200 I dropped on this, I think I also paid about $250, maybe $300 for this guy right there, the ZV-1F. So yeah, this is kind of like a paperweight for me right now because I can't get it to work the way I want it to work. I was gonna make a video on this camera just to be like, oh, the cheapest Sony camera, what video you can get out of it? But it's honestly, the autofocus is so atrocious, it's not even worth it. So biggest regret buying this camera. And then when it came to something like this, which is like a dedicated camera for filming yourself versus like your iPhone, I thought it would be good, especially because I thought the image quality wouldn't be that bad. I could just prop this down, record myself, and it's easier than pulling this out of my pocket. Like, think about it. This is tiny, you know? But it really isn't worth it. The image quality isn't any good on this. Maybe I'll put in a clip and show you what it looks like. But the image quality is just way better on this. Just bite the bullet, become the cringe, and record yourself with a full-size camera. It'll be way worth your while. So when it comes to Sony cameras, you have really, and Sony's probably never gonna sponsor me, so yeah, don't spend money on useless stuff like I did, old stuff or new stuff. If you wanna film yourself on a budget, the Sony ZV-1F, I don't know if the 1F Mark II is any good or worth it because I don't have it, and I didn't see anything in the press specs or the releases or the videos that said it was better than this one. So it already has all those best features like USB-C charging, articulating screen, a mic input, everything like that. So ZV-1F, if you're on a budget, and if you're not on a budget, the Sony FX30 is the way to go. Those are the two cameras, and hopefully that helps you on your buying decision for Sony camera in 2023. So yeah, stay tuned because I'm going to drop more videos about camera stuff. I have a couple videos about lights. I'll probably do a desk or a film YouTube setup thing after I clean my room at some point because it's super messy everywhere. I'll drop a video showcasing all the stuff that I use and the lessons I've learned to get to this point, because if you look at my first video versus this video, it's crazy.